Arsenal.
Yes.
Did they blow it, Lee?
Did we blow it? No, because I still think we'll win it, Tel.
Blow the game.
Clip that, KJ. Clip it.
KJ, leave it out. We've got the agenda to run. Did you blow it at the weekend?
Yeah, big time. It's on the manager. Like it was at Old Trafford. Yeah, people are going to go, here we go. See, I'm not going to be winning now, am I? They're all going to turn on me now. But to leave Zinchenko on, and people will want to sit here and say, well, it's great to say that after the event. I was saying it at half time, get him off. All the way through my half time with Ola, get him off. I said, in fact, I was saying all the way, I even said it last week to you. I said, I played Tierney in that game. Yeah, and listen, we started off great. We got the goal. We should have scored after the first minute. Martinelli skinned Trent. We knew that was going to happen. Like, he cooks him every time he plays him. And we get the goal. And then Jesus scores. He missed a sitter before that. It was like, then Robertson had a chance before we scored the second. Salah, that ball diagonal to Salah was on all game. And then Granit Xhaka, it should have been a free kick, by the way. I thought the ref was horrendous. Should have been a free kick. Konate pushed Xhaka over. Xhaka see the size of Konate and thought, I'll pick on Trent instead. And then 40 seconds later, after we've all switched off, they score. Yeah, Zinchenko nowhere to be seen at the back stick. He's supposed to be the left back, but our centre back was there. Where was he? And then the substitutions were a shambles. Like we've watched a manager who's been in a title race pretty much every year. Well, 5 out of 7 years, or 4 out of 6, or whatever. Yeah, make 3 substitutions before we made one. What's that all about? Like, what are you doing? You're winning the game 2-1. You're getting absolutely peppered there in the second half, and we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper in our own box. And in the end, the liability that can't defend, which I've been saying all season can't defend. Listen, Zinchenko's brilliant with his little short passes going forward. He can't defend, and he's a left back, apparently. Yeah, he's a left back. We then take off Martin Odegaard, who ghosted, by the way. Who knew? Big away game ghosts. Yeah, and people are saying he's the best centre midfielder in the league. Do me a favour. Yeah, he ain't. Yeah, but because he jumped up against Sporting Lisbon when we won a throw-in and got the crowd up, that's him, free pass. He loves the club. Look at the passion. So he gets a free pass. I've not seen anyone mention how poor he was, by the way. But the liability defender that we have got nutmegged by the worst right back in the league. Unbelievable. And then Ben White, who's for me been absolutely superb this season, don't even know that Firmino's there. Like, what is going on here? Yeah, and then as soon as Zinchenko gets nutmegged, he brings Tierney on. What are you doing, mate? You bring on Kivior for his second league appearance ever for Arsenal after playing his first for 4 minutes against Palace. You bring him on at Anfield. Well, didn't we sign Jorginho? Yeah, with the experience of winning major honours. Wasn't it for this game? Wasn't it for games like this to see games out, no? Slow it down and get your passing range and all that. What happened to Fabio Vieira? I thought he was the next Bernardo Silva. Why was he on the bench? Why didn't he come on for Odegaard? Yeah, what happened to Smith Rowe? Why didn't he come on? Like, it made no sense. His substitutions were shambolic. The way he managed that game from when we went 2-0 was a joke. And he did that at Old Trafford, Terry, yeah? Right, and listen, we've got a whole week now to play. I think we play Saturday against West Ham. Yeah, if we don't go out there against West Ham and get a result, it's done. Yeah, but I do think we'll beat them. I do think we'll beat Southampton. They only play Leicester before we play them. So we could be 9 clear with them having 2 in hand. If we get out of Man City with a draw, I don't think they're catching us, even with them games in hand.
Well, this is the thing about it.
But we have to win the next 2.
No, I agree. You have to win the next 2 because also you go into that game with a 9-point lead. There is a psychological element that's harder for Man City because games in hand are not points. There's pressure in them. And if you would have grabbed something at the Etihad and go, say you had 9 points clear, you grab the draw and you maintain that 9 points. Yes, they could win those 2 games in hand, but any slip up and that gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the whole time. So it's going to be an amazing couple of weeks in terms of the title race now because of this draw. But I think what's interesting is the reaction people have towards you and a few others. I was a little bit annoyed to see Gooners go, that's it, it's done, it's over. I thought that was too premature, far too premature in my opinion. Equally, I've seen people like you attacked for criticizing what I think are clear mistakes.
Oh, but you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to with Arsenal fans, Terry. It has to be sparkles and unicorns every day. You're not allowed to with Arsenal fans, Terry. It has to be sparkles and unicorns every day. Yeah, and then when it all goes tits up, they'll just go, nobody expected us to win it anyway.
Yeah, and I think for me, that's the bit that I kind of looked at and thought, come on now, like there were mistakes from the team and the manager. I think the subs were wrong. As you say, you weren't aggressive enough in the second half. The best way to have stopped the kind of onslaught from Liverpool would have been to have laid a glove on them, attack, put some pressure. There was a couple of times you countered and you look up and there was nobody in the counter attack with the person with the ball. And those are mistakes. And I think I almost guarantee when the team are watching the DVD and the film back the next day or today, maybe even if they got a day off yesterday, I don't know. But I guarantee you the coaching staff are saying that. And I almost
that chance from Martinelli where we had that 3-on-1 in the 96th minute, mate. Yeah,
Oh.
Martinelli can't pass the ball properly. Yeah, based on that alone, right? And this is going to sound harsh to people. I don't care. Based on that alone, drop him for the next game. But you can't pass a 20-yard straight pass. Drop
Martinelli, he got a goal and an assist, bruv.
Don't care. You're 3-on-1. All you got to do is have a bit of composure and Saka runs the goalkeeper and scores. And you overhit it by 10 yards. It's a 20-yard pass, straight pass. Drop him. Put Trossard in next game. And this is where the elite mentality has to kick in now, right? Because people are sitting there, and I've seen people already saying, oh, well, if we finish second, hold on, mate, we're still 6 points clear. What do you mean if we finish second? Why are you even thinking of second? But this is the loser mindset that's infiltrated this fan base for a decade or more. Yeah, if we finish, no. And another thing I want to say here, Terry, right? Because I'm getting the hump with people saying this. Nobody expected it. All these pundits at the start of the season, if you go back to your own predictions at the start, who cares? One of my mates is a Villa fan. Start of the season, he wanted Europa League or Conference League. That was his expectation as a fan, right? Gerrard gets him 12 points after 13 games or 13 after 12 or whatever. His expectation changed based on what was happening, yeah? And he was like, just stay in the league. Just stay in the league. Now they get Unai Emery in, they're 6th. So now his expectations have changed to go, let's get back in Europa or go Europa League again. But with Arsenal, oh no, what you say, there's nobody expected us, so we can't finish and do it. And you're not allowed to say it because you're not allowed to say expectations can change. Because nobody expected us to win it, if we don't win it, we can all say that. If we do win it, they'll be relentless and be more mouthy than they are anyway. But if we don't win it, they'll come out with that one. Yeah. Terry, on the 12th of January this year, we were 8 points clear of Man City. They had no games in hand. So at that point, no Arsenal fan thought, actually, we've got to go and win it now then. Like, if that's the case, then what is going on here?
I think for me, like I said, I spoke about it on a video I did this morning. This kind of notion of, after this game, a lot of people some fans fran baby out with the bathwater. It's almost like, right, let's get it in now that we ain't going to win it, and therefore we won't be bantered if we don't. And then there are others that are like it's fine, but equally you shouldn't criticize what we do. And I'm like, there's the right answers in the middle. I think Arsenal fans should be frustrated at throwing a 2-0 lead away. They should criticize the mistakes of the manager at the weekend. They should criticize the mistakes of the players, even the ones who played well. But you don't have to go to the extremities of kicking off and throwing in the towel and fighting each other. Because I'll give you an example at my club, and we're not in the title race. But when we got battered by Newcastle, I criticized the manager's first the team he started with. I ripped into the substitutions he made. I berated the performances of particular individuals. But that was it. It was for that isolated game. These were the mistakes. These were the issues from within this game. What I find fan bases now are struggling to do is isolate games and react to that match, review that game, as opposed to how they feel about a player in their entirety. So
why do you think that is?
I tell you why that. I 100% I tell you why that is, because of the mob mentality that now exists around supporting fans online. I know for a fact that some gooners will sit there, some throw their toys out the pram because they like to overreact. And I watched what you said after the game, watched a whole match review. You didn't change your stance on the fact that you still think you're going to win the league. You just criticized the individual game. And I think that's the right thing. And that's the right thing to do. I think there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want to say anything negative because groups of people online might come for me. I might get labeled Lee Gunner Jr. I might, some of the females that do it, oh, you're Leanne Gunner. And it's almost like, but that's ridiculous.
How is she, by the way?
Yeah, all good, all good. You have to criticize the things that went wrong You can also show that you're angry not to win a football match, but that not mean that you're angry with your football team overall. And that's the bit for me that really stood out of the weekend from a fan perspective. It was like, there's one guy that came on the show and was like, I'm just so annoyed we didn't win the game. And the amount of gooners that came from him saying, how dare you slag the team off? He's like, he hasn't slagged the team off. He just said he's angry that you didn't win.
But this is the loser mindset that's infiltrated and infested this fan base for too long, Terry. Right? And this is where I get the ump with it. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you're 2-0 up in a football match and you're Arsenal Football Club and you are top of the table, I don't care who you're playing. If you're 2-0 up, you have to win the game. You have to win it.
I agree.
Yeah, you have to win it. And if people want to sit there and say, oh, you're so negative, well, I'll tell you what is negative, mate. Going 2-0 up at Anfield, not making a sub until the 80th minute. Yeah, and then letting the player who can't defend and has been a liability in that game from the get-go, by the way, because Salah was on that right wing, our left, the whole game unmarked. Literally unmarked. Go and watch the first half back, even when we were battering them. Every time, 70-yard ball, he had acres of space to run into. Yeah. Why didn't anyone say to Zinchenko, or Zinchenko uses experience, keep hearing experience, why didn't he think, actually, I better not start gallivanting over to right wing? Yeah, and I better not go into number 10 every night. Like, because if we get a turnover of the ball here, I'm out of position. Now Gabriel Magalhaes got to go over. Now Holding's got. Where was he on that goal, that Salah goal? Because it was Gabriel slide tackling at the back stick, who, by the way, I thought was our best defender by a country mile in that game. Yeah, and I thought the goalkeeper was man of the match. Yeah, but having said that, on the flip side, Konate was their best player. So 2 defenders for me and the goalkeeper were best players on the pitch.
Yeah.
But where was Zinchenko for that goal? He is a left back. Yeah, he is a left back, Terry. He was not even in the picture for that Salah goal. Where is he? Where was he? He's a left back.
I hear you. I'm just putting the highlights on here now. On my,
I think maybe he was at centre back. I don't know. But why is Gabriel Magalhaes the last man? Why? Because he's trotting back from centre mid and attacking mid. Yeah, and when you're 2-0 up at Anfield,
Zinchenko was ended up in a midfield role. He's in a centre back position.
There you go, centre back. Why? Because he was so far up the pitch. As soon as that ball went, and why was he so far up the pitch? Because when it had come off a free kick, they had the free kick where Trent and Xhaka both got booked.
Yeah.
And why is he that far forward? Why ain't he at left back? But who's calling this out, Terry?
Well,
yeah, I've said all season, he's been a brilliant part of why we are top of the table. He's been fantastic going forward. But he's also a massive liability when we ain't got the ball.
Well, that's about getting things right and getting the balance. I want to go to some of these super chats here. The first one says, love Zinny, love his graft and bottle, but he ain't a left back. We should have started Tierney at Anfield or at 65 minutes, brought him on, take off Xhaka, who was losing his rag, and move Zinny into midfield. I mean, that would have been a great Cliff. I said
that at half time with Ola. I said, get Xhaka out of there. I said, he's just been booked. I said, Jesus has had to pull him away. I said, like, and I don't know what Jesus said to it. It was probably along the lines of, listen, we're 2-0 up at Anfield. We're going for a title. Shut up. Yeah. And then 40 seconds later, nobody switched back on again. Bang, they score. Yeah. So I said at half time, get him off. Yeah. I said, worst way is keep him on for 5-10 minutes, Xhaka. Then get him off. Then put Zinni in midfield and put Tierney at left back. We had Tierney warming up from about, I think, 79, 80 minutes. He was warming up. Why did it take until the 88th minute to equalise for Liverpool for us to bring him on? Why do you need to warm up for 8 minutes, mate? Obviously, you're already thinking, get Tierney on the pitch. What took you nearly 10 minutes to get him on? Nobody calls this out, Terry. And then when you do call it out, you're negative. No, I wanted to win the game, mate. And when I'm 2-0, my team is 2-0 up at Anfield. I expect to win that game. I don't care how good they are.
And I don't think it's wrong to criticise, I guess, individual games. This year says, do the fans manage or own a club? Okay, I'll come back to that a little bit later, slightly off subject. We will win it on 93 points, wins and 2 draws. Is what
I do think we'll still win the league. I do. I genuinely still think we'll win it.
I hear you on that. This year says winning at Anfield is next to impossible. We get
Rubbish.
1 point. It's good for us. Title race wouldn't have been all over if we'd have won it. So it's not over with this.
Loser mentality, mate. Brighton went there and got 3-3 draw with them. That's Brighton. We are Arsenal, top of the table, and they are 8th. What are you chatting about? Burnley beat them last season there. Didn't they get slapped 6 straight games at home? Last season or season before?
Leeds beat them this year.
Leeds beat them there. What are we talking about here? About, oh, it's nearly impossible to win. Real Madrid went there and slapped them 5 from 2-0 down. Like, come on. Real talk. Come on, mate. You got to do better than that.
This here says Lee is right. Arteta saw that for some crazy reason. The team stopped attacking. The mistake was to not include Tierney in the substitutes.
And that's my point, right? When you're taking Odegaard off, who I thought should have gone off, mate, there's a little clip doing the rounds, and the person who put that clip out on Twitter has got dog's abuse on it because, like you said, siege mentality, right? From all these people that try and claim that they're the most positive football fan ever. Why? It's weird. But there's 2 clips there. There was a 60-40 challenge where the ball's gone up in the air and it's Odegaard and Curtis Jones. And Odegaard ducks and moves himself back. And all the people are sitting there going, oh, that's because he knew he couldn't win the header because he's shorter. What are you chatting about, mate? Does Lisandro Martinez think I can't go up against Haaland because he's taller than me? What is this mentality? Then there was another one where Odegaard's got 70-30 chance of winning the ball against Trent and he pulls his leg back out of it. Absolute bottle job. Yeah? You can't be having passengers at Anfield or any football game. Why he took him off, cool. I get why he took him off. But to bring Kivior on, when you've got Fabio Vieira on the bench that we spent 35 million on, everyone keeps telling me is the next Bernardo Silva. You brought Jorginho to shore up football matches, right? With all of his wealth of experience. And you've got Smith Rowe on the bench, who's dubbed one of our greatest young prospects. So why was it a 19, 20 million pound signing like comes on that's played 4 minutes of Premier League football? That made no sense. And we did this last season, when we brought Nuno Tavares on, and he threw the game that season.
Well, I think this is the thing, right? I said to you before, criticizing a manager's decisions in one game isn't. I mean, you're actually not. The ironic thing is, a lot of the TPFs that would attack you for criticizing him are the same people going, I think we'll lose the league now. At least you're saying, I still think we're going to win it, which is just an interesting turnaround here. This super chat says, when we lose or draw equals the manager. When we win, it's the players.
What are you chatting about? In fact, it's the other way around, mate. Yeah, when we lose or draw, it's, it don't matter. It's Anfield. Yeah, or the players let him down. When we win, Arteta masterclass. I think you've got that back to front, mate. Yeah, I think you've got that back to front because, listen, we lost at Old Trafford this season and we have only lost 3 games this season, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them are right on him. The Man City game, you could even put on him as well. The 3 losses, you could actually stick all 3 of them on that manager.
Who's your other loss against?
We've lost 3, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Everton. Yeah, I get.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Everton.
There
you go. There's another one.
Everton was more the players for me. They just weren't on it that day.
No, the players weren't on it that day. But at the same time, what made that manager decide to let Martin Odegaard mark Tarkowski off a corner? What genius does that?
I get you.
I'm sorry, but Terry, when you sit back and analyse them 4 losses, he plays Tomiyasu in that game over Ben White against Man City. Why? Why did you put Tomiyasu in? Ben White's on the bench. He's been flying. Like weird decisions, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I think you're right to criticize them. This here says for me the game was gone once we switched from 3-5-2 to 4-4-2 before any subs. I do think Zinchenko could have done better, but it happens to the best player sometimes. Just the attacker's brilliance can't dwell onto West Ham.
I agree with that to a certain extent, yeah. But listen, that's Zinchenko. As good as he is going forward, he's equally as bad defensively. And we have seen it time and time again. Go back to the Bournemouth game where they scored after 9 seconds. Where was he? They've just kicked off. Where was he? Like, mate, it makes no sense. This geezer, right, and because he cried on the bench and he heard waterworks and all that, sympathy vote, that don't wash with me, mate. Yeah, that might work with thousands of other people, but bringing on the waterworks, it's like when you have an argument with a bird and that, yeah? And then they start crying. What, you think you're going to get sympathy? No. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Yeah, that's it. You can cry all you like. Yeah, but at least he cares. Now he's absolved of any, like, people should be fuming he got nutmegged by Trent. Instead, all I've seen is, what a nice fella he is. He donates to charity. And somebody put this tweet out. I want to read this because this is triggering me. I can't lie. So troll football have put out no one, absolutely no one, and then Zinchenko 4 different pictures of him crying, right? This Arsenal account, I won't read his out, I won't embarrass him, right? Has put Zinchenko has no Twitter, no tattoos so he can donate blood, no fancy cars, lived in student accommodation whilst earning 120 grand a week, donates a quarter of his wages to charity. Well, of course he does, it's a tax write-off. And brought a second-hand Vauxhall Corsa from his mum and flies Ryanair. How could you hate him? What's that got to do with him getting nuts by Trent? What's that got to do with like, real talk? What has that got to do with him getting nutmegged by Trent and not being at the back stick for the Salah goal?
Yeah.
Like, these people are weird, mate.
I want to put this super chat up here. It says Arsenal on Arteta was beaten by the occasion more than the opposition. Missed a trick with subs is what Martin says here.
I disagree with that, man. Like, slightly. Listen, I know you come in here all the time. You're in my chat as well, mate. Good lad. But like, I don't think we played the like and missed a trick because of the occasion. I think it was just his lack of managing a game out. Mate, you go 2-0 up at Anfield. Why are you still acting like you're the team losing? Like, it makes no sense. I'm screaming at the TV and I'm watching it. I'm going, right, batter them 4 or 5 now. But this is me as a fan, Terry. Yeah? As a manager that has worked with one of the greats that we've already established is one of the greats, but he needs a Champions League, obviously, right, with City. Right? Otherwise, Ollie Holt's going to be fuming. Yeah, but we've established how good Pep is. He was working with Pep for years. He's played under Arsene Wenger and he's played football at Glasgow Rangers, Arsenal and PSG. He's played some and Everton, some big clubs.